Choo choo.
Hello, welcome back to the second show today on Actual Play. It's so exciting. We're back now to play Sync. It's going to be great. I'm really curious as to if we have anybody who's here from Source Master. So if you are, say hi in chat, and you will earn 50 bonus stars from me. That's 50, not 15. 50 stars because I'm so excited to play this game and I want to give bonus stars to everybody. I'm Sean Nittner. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm going to be playing a super rad designer who wants to, named Tessa, who wants to like do counter design to inhospitable designs that like are meant to shoo away homeless people and trying to make the world a little bit more comfortable place. So Panther Arca, you get 50 bonus stars right now. That's happening.
Better start typing.
How about you, Karen? What's up with you?
Hi, my name is Karen. My pronouns are she, her. I'm going to be playing the driver Lido, and I am just very excited to tell some stories with these characters together because we have done a lot of setup and gotten really excited about how they're all going to bounce off of each other. So I'm excited to dive in for that.
Yeah. So good. Hello everyone, am Andy. My pronouns are she and her. I am playing the analyst Nash, and I'm really excited about getting back here with all you lovely folks. Hooray. Life was busy there for a time. And I'm also really excited about fashion. And about trying to make up really great like lingo for all of these 5 minute in the future concepts that we're going to be looking at. And I'm excited about skateboards.
Yeah.
Yes to all of that.
Fashion. Hi, I'm Kira. This is my game I'm designing. It's called Sync. SYNC, not sink as in the kitchen sink. I know it's easy to confuse them. And this is a cyberpunk game, but it ain't your typical cyberpunk game. It is a feels-focused, activist, non-violent tabletop role-playing game. So where a lot of cyberpunk games focus on heists or guns and stuff like that, this game focuses on relationships and activism and feelings. So yes, what am I excited about? I'm excited about seeing how some of my new moves fixes work. I'm slowly editing this game, so I hope they function the way I imagine them to. So I am actually excited in a nerdy way to see if they function. And I'm excited to see how these characters interact. These are some cool characters. I have not yet played this game with a furniture designer concept or an analyst quite like Nash, although Karen has graced me with this driver, a similar driver.
Similar driver.
Yeah, not the same. Not the same at all. So I'm excited about this thing. I'm excited about Miami, Neo Miami, the setting we're about to be in. And yeah, it's about as hot here as I imagine it might be in Miami, maybe hotter. So I'm feeling the realism of the hotness.
Immersion.
Yeah. So yeah. So I guess we can start playing unless there is something. Oh, we have safety rules, so if anything comes up, we can use the X card. You know, you can say X card, or you can make an X on the screen, or if someone else is talking, or however you want to display that makes sense. And yeah, I think that's everything before we begin.
Sounds good.
All right. And everybody, you can see your character sheets and everything on Roll20, and I don't think I've gone over the rules yet, so I'm just gonna do that really briefly. I know that y'all have played many Powered by the Apocalypse games. Some of you have played this game previously. You have read probably over some of the moves and been like, oh, I know what moves are like. But just real quickly, I'll go over kind of the rules. There are 8 basic moves in this game. Basic moves are the things that you kind of will do in the narrative when they come up. You can drive towards them if you want to game the system and you're like, I want to be vulnerable right now. That's a move I could do. You can like kind of aim towards doing those moves and that will help you get points. Or you can just randomly roleplay and see if they come up, or I'll suggest them for you because I know them a little bit better because I made them. So the things you can do, you can get intimate. You can getting intimate is not sex necessarily. It is just being intimate with somebody, sharing intimate things. You can gossip, which is gossiping. It's just what it sounds like. And it's gossiping to kind of learn stuff. So you're getting in on the gossip train. You can decide to fuck this and have an argument with someone. So if you feel an impending argument, you just like throw in the towel, fuck this, do that move. You can diffuse, which is basically disabling a piece of tech or de-escalating a situation. You can pause when you are overwhelmed and you need to pause. So if you feel like too much stuff is going on, you pause and that does stuff. You can be vulnerable. I believe that is how one of the ways you can remove conditions in the game. So that's like a healing move. You can do pattern recognition, which is kind of looking around and trying to put together patterns that are around you. And then there's calibrate. If you've had a misunderstanding with someone, you can try to like kind of recalibrate with them. So those are the basic moves. They are all social. None of these are fighty things. So just keep that in mind. Like they all kind of, a lot of the game centers around like conversations and really. I'm talking a lot. Does that all make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. It's great.
I think that's good. And I'm excited to explore it in game too. I'm sure we'll hit it again.
Yeah. And then the other big things that you need to keep track of, you have highlighted stats. I can't remember if we highlighted them last time.
I don't know.
Trying to look.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah, roll 20.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
in roll 20, we've got them highlighted.
Cool. Oh, yeah. So savvy and tough. So whenever you roll a highlighted stat, much like in Monster Hearts or Apocalypse World, you gain a sync point. So there are sync point on your sheet. You'll see sync points and connectivity points. Those are the two cumulative points. If you roll a highlighted stat, you get a sync point. You can use sync points to, advance your character or make group moves. And then the connectivity points you gain when you are doing emotional labor for your fellow player characters. So whenever you intentionally do some kind of emotional labor, you get a connectivity point. Connectivity points heal conditions, and you can make group moves with those too. So basically, with a combination of sync and connectivity points, you can make group moves. Group moves are things that you do together to move against the big corporations in the setting who are oppressing you. So that's kind of the economy. Like you do things together in order to gain power to fight against the corporations. And then the group moves, I'll show you how they work once we accumulate them. But an important thing to remember is that you have to all spend the same amount of points. So you all have to spend like 2 sync points and 1 connectivity point. And you have to decide collectively, okay, we're spending that many points together as opposed to, I'm saving this to advance my character or do something else, right?
Got it.
But does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
When it comes up, if it's confusing, we can go over it again too. So that's the main point economy. For those things, conditions are just like, are harm. You don't really have physical harm in this game. You don't have like a box that's like, oh, I have 2 harm now. Everything is in conditions. So if you get physically hurt, emotionally hurt, if your tech is damaged, it comes up as a condition. And I think that is the majority of the things that y'all need to move. No, but please do not feel like you need to memorize those things. And if you have questions, let me know. Cool. All right. So cool. So those are the rules. So I guess we can just jump into play unless anyone has a question or something they want us to. Nope. Cool, we're good. Cool. So we're in Miami, Neo Miami, as you may remember. Let me see. Too many hurricanes have begun flooding parts of the interior, making certain parts of Miami underwater and transforming some old roadways into waterways. And the city's culture is still predominantly Hispanic and Latino. And the Spanish colonial history continues to have a great influence over contemporary race and class issues. And y'all are in a neighborhood in Neo Miami that we created together by checking off lots of lists. You know, that kind of have, all of this is on the Roll20, that kind of have all of these details, you know, details the locations in your neighborhood, and actually some of the locations are just in Miami in general, and the art and culture that's here, what the atmosphere is like in the city, types of transportation, which I think was super cool. There's like the Lambos, and there's like some hydro cars and boats, hover boats and stuff. And the architecture and subculture styles and food. So at any time we can look to these for inspiration, if we're like, oh, where should the next scene happen? It could happen here. And I know, Andy, you said you're excited about skate parks. So, or skateboards, and there's a skate park location.
Ooh.
So that's a good. Also, you know, the subcultures here are the mermodders, who are like mermaid modders, and there's some drag life, the hover folks who have like hover vehicles of some sort, and lifestylers who are like all kind of like what Miami beach lifestyle type of thing. So yeah, so that's the general atmosphere of the neighborhood. And you know, I know you have a warehouse where you live. You have your collective.
I think we decided that the warehouse was near sort of an industrial area, as warehouses are. And it's in an area that is threatened to be sort of gobbled up by real estate development. So as industrial warehouses go, because it's beachfront, or maybe not, it's waterfront property.
Wharf adjacent.
Wharf adjacent, yeah. So it makes a way better resort or anything, honestly. I mean, anything would make the landowners more money than giant warehouses where you pay low rent. And so we have, in fact, I think one of our like peeps that we are concerned with are our real estate developers.
Yep, they certainly are. In fact, you hear on the news this morning, as you're maybe sometime today, you know, that what is it, BCG Incorporated, Brunswick, Cole, and Guilford, the local real estate developers, have set aside plans. They've marked off an entire area that's actually just 2 blocks away from your warehouse, and alongside the waterfront, for their new developing plans, which have yet to be established. Have like these like digital, like, you know how like real estate people, like, they put up those pictures of this will be here one day, but it's like in the near future it's all like a digital screen, and it's like it's kind of like a zap protected or something when you touch it, so you can't get inside.
Rude.
Yeah, but they've got like chain link fence and like coming soon, even though usually these things take years, but they still put up the future look of it.
Yeah. And it was a set of you know, old businesses and like some old residential, like probably row houses, or the equivalent to whatever a row house would be in Neo Miami, like cheap apartments where a lot of people used to live. So they were all recently displaced.
Sure. Sort of like old dilapidated Art Deco style houses. That was one of our architectural our moves. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like shingles all like in these really cool splayed angles, but now like faded and worn and falling off, and like the houses have definitely seen better times.
Faded pastels.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely faded pastels, pink and teal. And does anyone else want to add like a simple thing that's nearby your warehouse pad, like some kind of futuristic detail or anything that kind of like a warehouse? If not, that's totally fine. But if you want to, this is a cool chance to add just a thing that's nearby.
I sort of want a towering building. We were just in Seattle, and there was this. We saw like the building that used to be the tallest building, but it isn't anymore by a long shot.
And it has
this
that weird like pyramid on top.
has that weird pyramid, which I feel like is very like also Art Deco as well. And like next to it is this like historic building, and it's historic because it's old.
It's old.
and right, and it has like the cool triangle shape, but like the star or like the sunbeam kind of look, where there's lots of rays kind of pointing up the triangle. I will capture an image or something like that, but it's yeah,
Cool.
I think that's right next to it.
Anybody else? Should the skate park be down here too, maybe?
Oh gosh, like nearby the wharf, like reclaimed, like old. That sounds great.
Yeah,
Sure.
like maybe under a highway or something, like lots of graffiti.
Yeah, absolutely. Some
Can the skate park right abut where be adjacent to where they've just fenced off? So the skate park is just outside that development area that they're.
Whew. It can be. Andy, what do you think?
Yeah.
I am more in love with it being like tucked up under like a freeway and sort of dark. And like half of it's like out in the sun. So like it's not far, but I feel like they are not strictly neighbors in the truest sense.
It's a safer space. It's not threatened.
Mm-hmm.
Keep thinking about where all the food trucks are, other than everywhere.
They're everywhere. Karen, did you want to add anything? If not, that's totally fine.
No, I'm good. It all sounds great.
Cool. So it is a Tuesday afternoon, and the heat is oppressive. It's Miami, and it's summertime, super hot, very humid. Sometimes your air conditioner from the early 2000s decides to work, but sometimes it doesn't. And what are you doing right now? Are you all at home in your warehouse? Are you working? What type of thing? What would your character be doing on a Tuesday afternoon right now? What are they wearing? What do they look like? Who are you all hanging out together? Do you all work remotely in the warehouse? Do you like not have a job right now?
Lito has decided that what the warehouse actually needs is new cabinets. And so he's installing these like sleek white lacquered cabinets with no discernible knobs or latches on them, that like unless you've used them before, you would have no idea how to open them. It's because that's what he likes.
He's so handy. Is he wearing his typical uniform of like a V-neck tank top or something strange?
Yeah, he's got like a V-neck t-shirt that's way open. And is putting in all of these new like cabinets around our kitchen area. He decided he didn't like the old ones.
Tess is definitely very construction oriented, like building oriented. Would he be doing it with her, or would he be like?
Lito doesn't ask when he decides that things just need to be fixed, or he gets his own design idea. He just woke up and he was like, "I'm putting in cabinets."
Nice.
So you could certainly join in, but he like has it all planned.
Awesome.
So does Tessa join in?
I feel like there's a part of her that's like, oh, so you're just gonna do this, right? Like, so there's
you are a furniture designer. Like, you have an eye for interior design. That's like your skill.
Exactly. Like, this is my jam, and you're just like, and also, I think it's fair to say that the cabinets are just whatever there was there when we arrived.
I was about to ask,
So I don't think this is like defacing some of Tessa's art. But she is a little surprised that like Lito, surprised and not surprised. It's like, what? Oh, of course. And yeah, no, I think she's just sitting there watching because it's real fun to watch Leto work. And like he's really good at this. It's not
Real
like
fun.
He's handy.
he's handy. He's totally handy, and she's enjoying. And like I think at some point there's gonna be a thing where you need to balance something, and like he's totally strong enough, but you just need somebody on either end, and she'll join in then when like there's an actual need for a second person. But she's not gonna get in the way just for the sake of it. And she's happy to like she's got this like mason jar of iced tea, and she's like in her coveralls and sweaty, and sitting at the little tiny kitchen table watching this for a while until she joins in.
So good. Is Leto like, did this start early? Is like Leto an early riser?
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
At some juncture, that like third time a loud bang happens because you're like, I imagine that you're tearing stuff down and it's kind of a racket. Like it's not careless, but
he's ripping off the cabinet doors and putting new cabinet doors on, and is also, now that he's in it, being like, should I just take that out completely? We'd have to put in, and yeah, he's just doing major demolition in your kitchen with zero warning.
Great. Yeah, like around the time that like the third bang happens, Nash will like stumble out of her like whatever where so to my recollection, this is Tessa's space and that we're all there is my read on this. Does that align with your recollection, Sean?
I do have a pad, so yes, this is my space, but I think the like big warehouse area is my space. I'm pretty sure Leto has his own like private garage that's his own spot.
Leto has a garage that does have like a bedroll in it, and he'll often crash there. But it doesn't have like hangout space.
Right. Okay. Great. So I'm trying to imagine what dark corner of this warehouse is Nash's.
Yeah. So Tess is the one with her name on the lease, I guess, is the important.
Right. Yeah. So Nash will stumble out of whatever like dark little cubby where all of her like tech is in both tidily and in deep disarray, and will like stumble down into the kitchen and is wearing like a crop top and like a pair of joggers and bleary eyed, and just stand there and like look. And then we'll like dig into one of like the pile of stuff that used to be in the cabinets and pull out like just it's an energy drink, or is it a coffee replacement, or is it like it's just whatever, it's one of those, or like is it that it's the thing
Soylent.
It's like a slightly less gross Soylent, right, with really strong benign branding, and I imagine everyone else loathes them maybe, and this one is flavored like mango.
Naturally. I think it's all piled on the kitchen table. Like all the things that were taken out of the cabinet are just like a giant pile on the table that will eventually go back into the new cabinets.
Great.
They are still kind of clustered as to what they were previously. Okay. Although Leto is already, as he was putting stuff down, is thinking about how to reorganize the cabinets.
Utterly. Great.
They are getting reclustered.
The nested organization is delightful. Yeah. So that being case, in walking over, we'll sort of like Nash will sort of like look at Tessa in passing, and it's not even like just like look at Tessa, kind of look at Leto's back, and then like prop herself up, like sit cross-legged on like a yet demolitioned or like one of the cabinets that has been moved out of the way, and dive into like the feeds.
Nice. Yeah, Tessa sort of shrugs like when she's looking at Leto. She's sitting on one chair, like leaning back with her feet up on a different chair. But there's 3 chairs here. There's more than that. There's enough chairs. So if there's still like a tiny bit of room at the kitchen table, although it's mostly covered with shit. And she's kind of idly going through things, like opening up a jar and being like, oh God, that's gross. We just need to throw it. That just needs to not go back to the cabinets.
But do you put it back on the table as opposed to the trash?
It's sort of too early in the morning for her to really want to do actual work. So she's like, remember to throw that away, but doesn't actually throw it away. God. She's really she's waiting for her moment to like, to help out. And so she's kind of, keeping her spot. She's holding her spot here of like as Leto audience. Yeah. So I think that's I think that's how our
Cool.
morning starts.
Mhm.
So that's what you're all doing, I guess. Cool.
Smashing the patriarchy. One
Yeah,
cabinet at a time.
Yeah.
your cabinet, the things you surround yourself with are important in life. They infect your everyday actions and
But-
things.
Yeah, just to be clear, your cabinetry is all like prefab, right? It's all
Yeah.
like IKEA. You're installing it. You're not designing
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah.
Tess would
Lido-
probably have more feels if it was about design.
Yeah,
But it's prefab stuff. It's cool.
Lido basically never stops tinkering. If it's not in his car, then he's doing other types of improvement projects. So this is kind of par for the course, but I don't think that he's done something this intrusive before.
Sure. At one point, Nash will sort of like Nash's like expression in face or elsewhere. I imagine that Nash has like a implanted like HUD, right, and is just busy working. Not that anyone else can ever tell what Nash is doing. And be like, "Where did you get the cabinets?"
Someone was selling them.
Y'all still friends?
Yeah.
All right. Good job.
Thanks. I just thought we needed something, new.
Does Lido have his like blueprints for this design written out somewhere? Does he have like a sheet of paper where it's all
Vaguely.
It's all drawn vaguely?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like do you have like one of those really great like overly chunky like rectangular pencils that people like sharpen in their shops with like whatever knife is sitting around and like scribbled on like on a piece of cardboard? Is it that kind of
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Those pencils exist in plethora around here. There are lots and lots of those.
We only have the weird, fancy, and yet inconvenient to sharpen pencils because that's our aesthetic. It says so much about all of us.
Yeah.
We have to make the little things difficult for style.
Right. So Tess is like holding up this piece of cardboard and just like, yep, I think you just started it. Just gotta be in his bonnet about it. And then at some point like joins in and asks Nash like, is it level? As we're both like holding the cabinet and not to make too much of a project of this thing, but like does want like collaboration there to make sure we're hanging them correctly, because an unlevel cabinet is an atrocity. That is the worst thing. The doors won't swing right. The light get crooked over time.
I'm glad we're tackling the big issues of cabinetry in this game.
These are serious things.
Pencils. I'm so sorry.
It's really important.
Yeah. So the
I
two
didn't
of
mean
you
to
are
do such a deep dive in this.
It's wonderful. So the two of you are spending some time, and Nash will like kind of come in and out. And in fact, when you ask her questions, oh yeah, looks up, yeah, there, yeah. You could get a level. Don't you have?
Yeah. So what is Nash doing in terms of you're just?
Nash almost always has like some low key gigs around like scraping data or finding data that shouldn't be available, or and is like ongoing like monitoring the feeds or like tuning the data aggregator that she has, or fixing the like spaghetti like of laptops that she's like strung together that all do different things. And those laptops are all like very carefully like stashed away in her like room or cubby, and they mostly don't come out and play. But she has a really strong like she's often half like present in with the folks that she's around in the world, and half like monitoring something out of the corner of her eye. So
I think Lido will make some small talk without taking his eye off of what he's doing. And just ask after, like, so how are the feeds?
Well, the big thing is the weather's good. Everyone's real happy about that. But outside of the weather, everyone's real salty about that like big old building down the way. Well, that being us.
Any word on what the city's doing about the flooding? I can't get my car out to where I normally go.
There's just platitudes.
I gotta figure out how to make a submersible car. How can I make my car water? And you see him for a second, like, start to think of another
New
project
project?
in the middle of this project. And he's like,
Right.
how can I make my car what?
How do you feel about
I'll
these
figure it out.
cabinets?
Yeah.
Oh,
Tess
they're
closes
good.
her eyes, like is like as we're still like holding this thing together and it starts going wibbly wobbly a little bit. Tess just gonna clear your throat and then there's a thunk as like a nail gun. Actually, no, she's definitely a power drill kind of person.
Yeah.
She'd climb in there with her long arm, like her long arms
Mhm.
all elbows, and just and it's a hammer drill, so it's like a real quick, and that thing's locked in place.
Mhm.
You also read or hear in the feed,
Yes.
Andy,
Mm-hmm.
that Nash, sorry, that it seems like a lot of state funding has been reallocated recently through some politics shifting around that everyone knows is kind of shady. But of particular notice is that the funding for your local like homeless shelter is being cut, which like the floods will like drastically affect, and that's like a huge deal, and especially affects Tessa's design.
Yeah.
strategy.
And Nash will sit on that one while everyone's like fighting with this cabinet.
Yeah, and actually, you're doing all your projects, all your data recombining and stuff like that, and you're like reading the news, and you feel a little overwhelmed by all of this. I think you might pause. So
into it.
Roll some 2d6. And add your tough.
Great. I will do this as soon as I find all the right things. There it is. Tough is 0. Yeah, 6.
6. Oh, that's great.
That is the perfect result.
So, on a 6, normally on this move you do some things, but you failed, so you don't actually do any of those things.
Not today.
Yeah, and instead, you get a. Let me look at my hard moves here.
Yeah. Yes.
You get a ping from your friend Cass.
Great.
And where's my pen? That's okay. And they're like, yo, did you see that bullshit about the homeless shelter? I think I'm totally gonna lose my job. You know that they work there as like they have they them pronouns.
Great.
They work there as like a liaison for like the LGBTQ youth in this section of the city. And this is like something that is near and dear to their heart. They are like a social activist. So they're kind of like freaking out at you on Messenger or whatever. You're on your HUD Messenger.
Right.
I like the idea that like you can have like a bunch of feeds and maybe they're color coded or something like that. And so we just like see like Cass like is like a line in your feed, and then it's like another, and it's like another, and eventually you're just like your entire feed is filled up with
with Cass. Yeah. Poor Cass.
Like hot pink writing or something like that.
Yes. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, dude. This really sucks.
Shit. Yeah. I don't know. I just read about all the funding. Heard the word, at least.
Yeah, I don't know where it's coming from. It's something internal, I guess, or something to do with the new person in charge over in the states, blah blah blah, politic things.
I mean, it's all shiesty.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess some of it's being reallocated or whatever. I guess at least we got condos going up next to you, right? That'll save the city.
Oh yeah, every day that reallocated, very just, totally great. I mean,
Yeah.
I wonder if we could just put it back.
That would be great. I can't do that.
I don't know. I don't know anything.
Yeah, me either. All I know is that there is a party tonight and I am gonna get crunk.
Birdie, that is probably the right next step.
I mean, yeah. Are you gonna be there?
That can be arranged. Yeah, that sounds like a great time. Figure out what to do with you. Figure out what's next. Figure out what you know and everybody else. Back you up.
Cool. And
Party
like,
time.
I have a question. Is this all beeply boop, or are we hearing one side of this conversation?
I was imagining it's text, but it could also be video. If it's video, then I will. Yeah, it's up to how Nash does.
Yeah. That's just that's just you, Andy. Like how, like, do we just perceive this as you like zoning out and doing your thing, or do we hear your side of the conversation? Or?
It's a little, mostly you don't hear anything, but like you hear the like, well, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like it kind of bleeds back and forth. Especially given that Nash didn't take any space for herself, so it's a little bit of a mess. And so like party, yes, are like so far the themes that you've gotten out of this.
Right.
And Nash will be like, yeah, send me the details over.
Cool. All right, I'll see you later or whatever. I'm gonna go cry for like 10 hours.
Hell yeah, let me know if you need a buddy.
And
they're like, cool, I support you.
that usually works. It didn't seem to have any effect.
Yeah,
You failed your role.
that's right.
And I'm trying to think of what that wasn't there like a rooftop like party place?
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, rooftop hangout. That's a dive bar,
Mhm.
and it's on the first floor of it is flooded, but the top floors are not. That's where the party is. It's like the secret party place. It's not an official club. It's just like a party place where people go.
Nice.
And Nash will sort of like shake out and finish this delightful morning breakfast of whatever food replacement thing, and like shove the hair out of her face and sort of shake out. And like the two of you have like just finished putting up like a significant bit of the cabinets is what I imagine.
Yeah.
Right? And be like, y'all want to go out for a bit tomorrow morning? Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Tess kind of like looks over at her glasses, which she's not wearing right now, because as cool and rad as they are, they actually kind of get in the way of her vision. And like she looks over it because her calendar is definitely on them, and she's like, I think so. Yeah, that sounds good. Like she's kind of too busy working on this thing. I think that the floods are not anything new, and so one of her design projects that are sitting in the warehouse, kind of in the background of this, are basically like flats. It's basically like houses on stilts, and they're little tiny, super tiny, like not even one bed, like 50 to 75 square feet, like super ultra compact houses that can be like wheeled around and then propped up on like a support still. And she's like building a couple prototypes of them, and they're all from like recycled materials for the most part, although there's a couple usually like finishing touches that she adds on. So that's like sort of sitting in the background is her thought about this flooding and how it's going to affect sort of the homeless areas. Like she's got some ideas for making a little floating little floating thing that'll get above the water line.
Cool.
For now.
Love it. Nashville. So like in after coming off of this call in touching base with Cass, Nash will sort of like clap her hands and be like, "Are y'all ready for the morning news?" And like kind of in this familiar, I imagine this might be a thing that gets repeated, and will, if the two of you agree, like tell you all this stuff about this reallocated funding and kind of what's going on with Cass, and like we'll share widely and kind of though you're working like share info that she has as much as she's able.
Yeah, I think that totally makes sense. I feel like that might be kind of our morning ritual, is to sort of debrief like the things that we have like heard recently, like just check in with each other, and also find out what's up, because we all have sort of different data feed sources. Yeah.
Word.
Do you like Nash or Andy, mark
Yes.
off sync point because you rolled tough and it's highlighted.
Yeah, thank you for the reminder. I did it. I did the thing.
Nice. You have a sync.
Boop, boop, boop. I did the stuff. And we
then,
think tough is about being emotionally and like physically like resilient, and like is that kind of how we think about tough? And I know it's very amorphous often.
yeah,
Is that-
yeah, and physically if you need to be, is all
Great.
of those. Yeah. And then are you like, as you're conveying the news,
Yeah.
you like is it evident that you're kind of like shaken up because like you failed your pause move, which is normally what like allows you to kind of chill, you know,
Mhm.
you're overwhelmed. So is it like very obvious that you're overwhelmed? Because if it is, someone could
Yeah.
potentially validate those emotions and gain a connectivity point.
No, I think that it's I think that Nash is surprisingly like typically Nash's like morning news report is pretty like coherent and like on point, and it's very like narrative driven and a little bit imprecise. And in talking about Cass, Nash starts to get really upset, like, and just sort of like has to pause and like check out, and maybe just stops at that juncture.
Yeah, this is very much on Tessa's mind. Like this is something she's been sort of working towards making, kind of counter, like not necessarily fighting the system directly, like just making her own shit up and hoping that it's helpful in some small way. And so like hearing that I think Cass is probably a mutual friend. I think Cass is probably somebody that at least the rest of us know.
Sure.
Great.
If that's okay, if that doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty upset about the idea of Cass losing her job, and looks at like her work that isn't finished, and it's like, shit, I need more hands on this to finish this. But that's kind of a side thing, and that wants to definitely wants to validate your concerns about Cass, because she shares them, or she shares some of them for sure.
So that's not a move. That's actually just something that you do. Like if you want to say it out loud, just have a conversation.
Yeah. Who?
Oh.
Do we?
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I mean, I think that's like also sort of in character. Like what the fuck? What does one do?
Yes.
Well, we should definitely go to this party then, and maybe find out how, if Cass is I'm fine with Cass staying here for a little while. If you all don't mind making a little more space, they can hang out over there. And I like point to like a spot that is like a couch, right? It's not like a room.
Make it work.
Cool. So are you just validating Nash's upsetness?
I feel like what I want to do is show. I feel like the move this doesn't necessarily have to be a move, but I'm actually trying to get intimate with Nash and like share a closeness there, that I like also care about this shared friend.
Okay. It could be both of those things. Like you could mark a connectivity point by being like, I validate what you just said, and also let's talk about this a little bit more. I want to be a little bit more intimate about this conversation.
Yeah, I would like to do that.
So roll your get intimate. It's a right. Plus you're rad.
I'm rad.
Yeah, radness.
Okay. Do we both mark connectivity? Does Nash mark connectivity?
Just you, because you're the person doing the emotional labor.
Okay.
Got it. Cool.
I don't know if that showed up. I can't see. I've got too many screens
It's
open.
an 8.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome. Cool.
It is an 8. So a 7 to 9. When you get intimate, they decide how to react to your proposal of an intimacy. Choose one of these. Experience a memory of yours. Let you down softly, or misunderstand your attempt at intimacy for something else.
And I think Nash chooses this, right?
Yeah. On 7 and 9, they choose one.
Right.
So Nash, you can choose. So instead of accepting the specific proposal of intimacy, because it's a 7 to 9 option,
Yeah.
you could experience a memory, like share a memory together. I should reword that because that's confusing. Let you down, let Tessa down softly and be like, nope, no, thank you. Or misunderstand it for something also not.
Yeah. Right. Which I think could be very interesting, since Tessa is definitely not coming to you at like, let's connect.
Right.
But it's about this shared friend, but like that could totally come across wrong, especially because Tess, if this is okay with you, and like Tess is very touchy, so she definitely like puts her hands on you.
Well, and Nash is on about Tess, so
Yeah.
this is definitely misunderstand this for a different version of intimacy, like as a different version of caring.
Yep.
Absolutely. And I think that ends up mostly what is that like? Because Nash's default is going to be like, play it cool, new distraction, play it cool. I think this ends up looking like leaning into some of that like touch and like soothing, and like way too prolonged like eye contact.
Nice.
Like as a thing, and like for once maybe Nash is like not like the I feel like Nash, her vision, her eyes are often like twitching as she's reading feeds, and like for once she's not doing that.
What?
Nice. Yeah, I don't know. I think Tessa is the one who has to eventually like break that contact, because it's like there to be supportive, but oh shit, that's not what I meant. So she's like, so the party tonight, what would be rad is if we had some of these built by that time. Not that out of character, not that Sean thinks we need another building scene, but like I have an idea as to what at least Tessa could be doing between now and the party. And she would definitely recruit Leto because he's very handy if he's interested, but also Nash if she just wants to feel like she's getting something done. And like she's like, focus on the thing, the cast. Remember, we're talking about cast.
Nash, I think, ends up like blushing horrendously when you like redirect, and is just, and we'll be like, right, yeah, cabinets. We're doing cabinets, yeah. Okay, great. The yes, right. That. Leto, do you need help? And we'll get up.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Isn't that one of your moves, Karen? What's the driver move?
Which one?
Oh, every time you can communicate something to someone without using words, Marcus.
Yeah.
I don't know if you took that though.
I did. Yeah.
So good.
I did use words there though.
It's true.
I have been thinking about how to use that.
It
so
reminded
good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. So the end of that awkward scene, unless someone wants to do something.
No, that's a great awkward scene to start out with.
Yeah, delightfully awkward. I can't remember when we take breaks. Is it on the hour?
Yeah, usually. So that is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we take a break now, and then assuming I can find all the things I need to be clicking.
All the buttons are gone.
All the buttons are gone. All right, so we'll be back in 5 or so, and see you all then.